Well, after the last few days, it's safe to say tornado season is in full swing. But forecasters say so far 2013 has been pretty quiet on the twister front. This year marks the longest the U.S. has gone into the month of May without seeing an EF1 or stronger tornado. That's according to the National Severe Storms Laboratory. They say a cool spring has kept the number of tornadoes down so far, and that typically the tornado season begins in the Midwest about a month earlier than we've seen this year. For more, we turn now to Joe Bastardi of weatherbell.com. Joe, the tornado that hit Moore was massive. How do these giant twisters form?
Well, you need a clash in the atmosphere to do this. A lot of people assume it's because it's warm, and indeed there is some warm, humid air around. I want to remind folks, though, that you need a lot of cold air to produce these things. And when you get the type of mid and upper level situation we had yesterday with a very, very powerful out-of-season cold trough sweeping into the plains, a lot of dry air in the mid-levels of the atmosphere coming out of Mexico and the warm, moist Gulf air, you get that natural intersection. The United States Central Plains, and this is why we call it Tornado Alley, is naturally set up for this type of thing in spring. And because of all the cold weather, it's been one of the coldest springs we've ever had in the United States. There's been a lack of tornado activity. So finally, when the warm, humid air makes an appearance, there's still enough cold air around to cause the clash, to cause the type of thing we saw yesterday.
Well, Joe, some people point out that and say this is part of a wild weather phenomenon, but big tornadoes like this are nothing new, are they?
Oh, no, this is common. Tornadic activity has been falling overall since the last cold cycle of the Pacific Ocean. You got to understand, and I keep preaching this, and one of these days it'll catch on. We are in the same cycle we were in the 1950s when the Pacific turned cold and the Atlantic was still warm. We saw a lot of hurricane activity along the eastern seaboard, a lot of heat and drought in the plains, and we saw a lot of tornado activity. And for the life of me, I don't understand why people try to make more of this than what it actually is. It's not global warming. It's not the rapture. It's what nature's doing, what nature is meant to do, and it's an eternal balancing act. So, we don't want to diminish what has happened in Moore, Oklahoma, or Joplin, or any of these places. But look, if you go back and look at the actual records and the actual facts of the matter, the tornadic activity has been down over the past couple of decades compared to where it was.
Well, Joe Bastardi, thanks so much for being with us. We appreciate your insights.
I appreciate that. Thank you for having me.